So today I want to talk about the opportunity cost of waiting to buy real estate. So I know a lot of pharmacists who graduate the same time as me or not too long after me, and what they were doing was, oh, we want to save up for 20% down before buying a home. And they're basically started, saving in 2016, and then they wanted to pay off their student loans first. So they said, okay, I'm going to pay off my student loans. After I pay off their student loans, I'm going to save 20% down. And from 2016 all the way to 2023, the cost of housing went up significantly in California, right? So things are now 400 to half a million dollars more than what they used to be. And now interest rates went from like 4% back then to like double to like 8%. So, because they waited, because they hesitated, and their W 2 income was pretty stagnant, right? Like it might go up like 3 to 5% a year. But they, over that window, like the housing price went up so much, interest rates went up. Now it's like so unaffordable, right? Like now it's like back when I was buying in 2017, if you bought $800,000 house, put 10% down, your all-in cost would be $4,000 a month. Now if you put 10% down and the house is like 1.3 million, it's like your all-in cost is like probably close to $10,000 a month, given the higher interest rates and the higher purchase price. So because they waited, that's the opportunity cost, right? Like now things are more expensive, interest rates are higher, and you just want to put 20% down because you're afraid of PMI. And PMI is only like, sometimes like, I think I PMI on my house in Orange County, and it was only like $180 a month. And what happened was after 2 years, the value of my house went up by so much. I called US Bank and just said, hey, can you reassess my property? I think it went up a lot in value over the past 2 years, and they reassessed it. I bought for 770K. They appraised it at like 940, and then, which is conservative, I think it's worth like closer to like 1.1. So they're conservatively getting 940, but I built up enough equity where I've over 20% equity in the house. Remember, I put 10% down in the house, and they just wanted to see if I gained 10% more equity, right? So I put 10% down. I'm doing loan payments every month. Some goes to principal, some goes to interest, and then the natural appreciation covered the rest, right? So I had enough equity in the deal, everything built up, and that's how I basically got my PMI removed, right? But look at the opportunity cost. Let's just say I was afraid of PMI, right? Let's just say I was afraid of paying 180 extra a month, right? Which is like nothing to me. I could have waited until I had 20% down, which would have taken me another year, right? But honestly, if I waited another year, that house probably would have sold for like 900,000 plus, right? I got it for around 800. A year later, it went by 100,000. So okay, I put 20% down, but if you think about it, like my monthly loan payment will go up, right? Because I'm paying $100,000 versus $800,000. So you kind of even out, right? Like, okay, like you want to wait a year to save up 10% more. You're putting that money down. You're saving yourself $180 a month, but now the house went up by $100,000, $900,000, right? So is it actually like worth it, right? That's what I mean. Like that's the opportunity cost of waiting. Like people don't see that. Like, yeah, it makes sense assuming housing doesn't go up and interest rates stay the same, but you don't know how it's going to be in a year, right? And in California, things go up, and then I guess no one anticipated interest rates to skyrocket that high, but now they're stuck, right? Now they can only rent, and they're kicking themselves saying, I wish I bought real estate back then, right? So that's what I mean. Like people, I feel like the number one regret in real estate is like, I wish I bought more real estate. I wish that I never sold real estate. So that got me down the conversation too of like, shoot, like at first I kind of wanted to sell one of my single family homes that have built up a lot of equity, 1031 exchange that to buy an apartment complex. And that may make sense, right? But now I'm kind of thinking, man, like where else would I ever own a house where it's like $4,000 a month cost basis, and over time rent's going to go up? Right? So like, I have a lot of equity in here, but I don't want to sell it because when I'll ever get a house that's affordable again, right? So maybe I can do a HELOC on it, do a cash out refinance, strip out the money, and then tend to use that to buy an apartment complex. Or if I do want to sell it, that apartment complex should cash flow a lot, right? Like, because obviously, I'm trading up the equity, right? Like I've over $600,000 equity in the single family home. I'm only getting $4,000 a month in rent. If I can trade up that $600,000 equity to buy an apartment complex that's just, let's say, 1.8 million, assuming 30% down, and that one can gross me like, I don't know, like $20,000 a month gross, and let's just say after 50% expense, that's, maybe 12K in expenses. So I have 13K net, and then maybe another, I don't know, $8,000 towards the monthly loan payment. So I'm cash flowing $4,000 a month now. It may be worth it, right? So you really have to analyze that. But with that, so it's making me hesitant to want to sell. Like, I usually don't like to sell. I sold my mobile home park because I was losing money. It wasn't for me. But for the most part, I'm a buy and hold investor, because that's how you build true long-term wealth. And like I said, a lot of real estate investors regret selling, right? So if I do want to sell, I better be confident that I want to 1031 exchange it into an apartment complex, or maybe I'll use it to buy a house, my house that I live in, cash, right? Or like a large down payment. So, I think this is just a conversation I wanted to have, because like there's an opportunity cost to waiting and not buying. Like, inaction has an opportunity cost, right? If you don't take action, you don't buy real estate, there's an opportunity cost. Like, the housing may go up, it may go down, it may stay the same. Interest rates may go up, may go down, may stay the same. But just know that based on the current trends, especially in California, prices have been going up and the interest rates have been kind of going up, right? Like, I remember back in the day, I was like, 4% interest rate, that's so high. I'm getting below that, right? So that's why I think a 5% interest rate is healthy. So because of that, like, a lot of people aren't selling too, because like they locked in a below 3% interest rate. They know they sell their home and they buy a new home, they can't afford that new payment because interest rates like doubled at least, or tripled. And it's just like, why deal with that stress? That's why inventory is so low, because most people, if they owned a house, they refinanced it, they locked in a low interest rate, right? So just the point of this rant was just to get you to think about there's opportunity cost of inaction. So just be very intentional in what you do, right? Be very intentional, and know that if you wait, it's going to come at a cost. So hopefully you found value from this video. Let me know if you have any comments or questions, and hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.